Hi everyone, welcome back to Bring a Smile India. Today we are on episode 5, Work, Life and Acting. I am Sanya Mahajan. I am a mental health advocate and also an aspiring corporate psychologist. Today for our finale we will have Kallirroi Tziafeta joining us. She's an actor and a theatre mentor, and we'll be talking to her about different things such as work-life balance, acting and mental health. Any questions that you may have at any point of time, please feel free to just comment down below, and I'll try and get as many of them answered. I think we're ready for her to join. I'm just going to invite her for a second. We're just going to wait for her to accept the invite and we're all set. Hello.
Hi, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Can you see me? Am I audible?
You're audible, but I can't see you yet. One second. Because I think we both invited each other at the same time.
Oh, maybe. Just gonna invite her again.
Hi.
Okay, can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you. I
Okay,
can hear you
perfect.
fine. Yay.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really a
Thank,
pleasure to have you on board, and especially for our finale, we would not want it any other way.
oh,
Thank you
thank,
for taking out the time.
thank you for inviting me. I feel it's kind of not strange, but it's uh, it's definitely some sort of a coincidence that I have been invited by you guys and by Scene One for a live on mental health. And I have my suspicions on why this is happening, but let's get to the questions part, and I think I'll say the whole story eventually.
Okay, perfect. So just for this session, what we'll do is we'll try and make it as interactive as possible. I have a few
Sure.
questions for you that we'll take on, but we'll also try and, make it open for all our viewers. So any question that they have, I'll try accommodating it in the middle and also towards the end so that we can get them answered. Is that okay?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay, perfect. So the first question, and I'm really, it's very personal because, I've always wanted to know, where did your journey start as an actor? And, what was your awakening that, yes, theater or acting is something that you want to take ahead and, pursue for the rest of your life?
Um, so it happened in an instant. Um, Although it was also a process, but it happened in
Mhm.
an instant. I was born and raised in Greece, and I was very lucky. When I was 7 years old, my mother started taking me to a museum, the Museum of Cycladic Art in Athens. And that museum every Saturday had this program for children. And during the program, which it was a cultural program about the Cycladic civilization that was developed in Greece around 3000 BCE. Um, and during those sessions, there was our teacher there, a beautiful person. She
Yeah.
used to narrate Greek myths, and then after she would narrate the myth, she would say, "Who wants to play a goddess Aphrodite? Who wants to play Zeus?" And we were a bunch of kids, around like 30, 40 kids, and we would just raise our hands. She would just randomly pick whoever hasn't gone recently, and we had a box with props and costumes, and that was my favorite part. Basically, it was for the costumes because
Mhm.
we had colored tules and the things that looked magical to me as a child. So I started taking a costume, playing the part. That was
Yeah.
it. And then when I was a teenager, I started hating my school, which was, I mean, yeah, like a teenager is supposed to.
Yeah.
Um, and I asked my mom to take me to another school, and that other school that I wanted to go had a drama club. And I
Okay.
knew it had already drawn me from my Saturdays at the museum. So the moment I joined the drama club, the night of our first show, after a long period of rehearsals, I'm there on stage. It was an outdoor show, and the lights were off, and I was a part of the chorus of Trojan Women. And while the lights were still off, I realized I need to do this for the rest of my life. It was just an epiphany. I knew at that moment that I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be in theater. So, and then there was no questioning. It was just
Yeah.
clear.
That's amazing, and I think that's great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Since you mentioned you're from Greece, and you've had this entire thing from Greece, coming to India, and being here for a while. You've been here for a while. How have coming from a different country and then settling in here in India, and taking up theater here? How have the experiences been, and how have those helped you shape into who you are today?
Uh, it's basically my whole life.
Yeah.
What you're asking. Um, See, India, I had a massive cultural shock when I first came. It was the
Hmm.
first time I was ever visiting Asia.
Yeah.
And Greece is a very small country. We're only 10 million people, which is basically half of Mumbai city.
Yeah.
Um, and having been born and raised in Greece, then I moved to London and I lived in London for 3 years. London is much bigger than Athens, but it was still not as big as Mumbai. Sanya, are you getting some feedback? No,
No, I
it's
think
good.
I'm good on the
For,
audio
for,
for sure.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I eventually I moved to Bombay. I visited Bombay, and then I
Hmm.
thought, okay, there's people here. They're doing theater. There's a film industry.
Yeah.
I already wanted to leave London because London was a hard place for me to be. Being Greek, I need some more of sunshine and openness and
Yeah.
uh, communication with people. I couldn't understand the Brits so well.
Yeah.
So that way, India and Bombay was very welcoming.
Hmm.
Um, for me, it was a pleasure to meet Indian people. And I felt like I was blending with Indian people, and I still feel that
Yeah.
immediately. I can communicate with people. There is a sense of immediacy.
Yeah.
I don't. There is no. There's no mask uh, that creates a big distance between the people.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that was for me the biggest draw when I came to India. Now, adjusting to the place, that was a whole other story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day to day was hard. Day to day was
Hmm.
hard because I was not used to being looked at so much,
Hmm.
especially when I'm walking on the road buying vegetables, running, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not used to being looked at a certain way, being a white female. That was another part of the story. And a lot of my I had misunderstandings about what it is to be in Hindi movies.
Hmm.
I had assumptions, not misunderstandings. Rather, like I assumed that the Hindi film industry would be like any other film industry.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. I was not aware of the particularities of this industry. And the last 10 years have been just a lesson after the other. It made me who I am today through the difficulties, through the battles that I had to fight, and through the
Yeah.
good fortunes also. it shaped me into this person that I've become. And I consider myself much, much, much stronger than the person who initially had come here.
Yeah, that's great to hear. You know what? Whenever we think of actors and whenever we think of theater, there is a lot of question about your work and your personal and your professional life. So, how do you draw a line between, or where in fact do you draw a line between your work and your personal life? And what do you think is your approach, or should be an approach towards striving towards a better work-life balance?
I have a confession to make, Sanya.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Very bad at balancing my work and my life. Um, yeah, I'm not very good at it, and the reason being, I have a lot of drive. Oh, my mind and my soul wants to do more than I'm already doing,
Yeah.
which is not humanly possible to fit more stuff in my day. And on the other hand, there is a very strong voice in me that says, slow down, do less, take more time to relax.
Hmm.
Like, I feel the need for these things, but I, at the same time, I feel like I gotta do it now. I gotta do it now. So there's a constant battle inside me of, I gotta relax, no, but I have to work. It's a real struggle for me. What I do realize is that when I relax, eventually I go to work much better when I take breaks.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I've become a little better in at least acknowledging the voice inside.
Hmm.
It's a start for me to
Which is
know that,
great.
yeah, to know that, hey, my brain needs to empty. Also,
Hmm.
you know what, there's a big factor here. I was discussing with a friend also recently, that when you're in a creative profession, when your job has a creative demand, it doesn't end when you shut your laptop, when your
Hmm.
job finishes. It's
Yes.
always there in the back of your mind. So essentially, you are working at all times. You're taking a shower and some idea will come about a project. You're about to fall asleep and some line will come into your head and you'll want to write it down. So there is the boundaries between work and life in the creative field, I feel, are quite blurred,
Hmm.
and that's what makes the need for the boundary even more important.
Yeah,
Be-
exactly.
at the same time, creative people don't always have work throughout the year. So when
Hmm.
work comes, nobody's asking you how much your work will come. That makes it also even more important to know that, hey, now it's downtime. What can I do in my downtime without losing my sense of self? Because our
Hmm.
sense of self comes forward through our work, since we are in a creative profession.
Exactly. Yes.
So, yeah.
And I think those are so important. Like you just mentioned, theater and acting can be in different phases, and you may, be in at different times, and you may not have that choice of saying that, okay, like I cannot separate out my life right now. Work is important. But at the same time, I think the confession that you made, it is human and it is most of us in any way. But the first factor what comes in is acceptance, having that acceptance in place. And I think you're really right on what you said. And it's great that you shared, because yes, that is the true picture right now. And, that really helps aspiring actors know.
Yeah. If you choose to do a creative profession,
Hmm.
you are choosing a life of struggle. It's the truth. I mean, it's not only struggle, but
Hmm.
obviously the returns of doing creative work are so huge because creative work is so fulfilling.
Yes.
But it comes with a lot of insecurity, a lot of lack of structure. So, in order to have a healthy approach to working, you need to create a structure for yourself if you are in the creative field. So you feel like you have a little more control, and if you feel like you have a little more control, your anxiety lowers.
Yes. Yes. I
So
completely agree.
yeah, so basically finding ways to manage the chaos of the creative profession, taking more charge of your life as much as you can. And for me, see, this is my experience. Maybe not
Definitely.
everybody has the same experience.
Yes.
Um, Maybe other people have a different approach to how they do their creative professions. But for me, this has been the biggest lesson of how can I blossom in this field if I don't feel I have an anchor somewhere? And where will I find that anchor? That anchor has to only come from inside me. Because everything else is uncertain, I need to anchor something within myself.
Yes.
And that's where work-life balance happens. Because if I take care of myself, then I'm able to anchor.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that. Now, coming to theater and coming to acting, for anyone who's an aspiring actor or, wants to be in this creative profession, how would you describe your art or, acting or theater as a form of expression?
I believe that all kinds of art, any source, any creative work is actually healing for the person who makes it and eventually for the audience who receives it. Um, this has been again my lesson. I see my creative work as a means to satisfy my ego. I'm bound to fail. If I see my creative work as a gift to the audience and as a gift to myself, that I took time to listen to what needs to be expressed through me. That is healing. So if you choose to become an actor, if you choose to do any creative job, it's essentially choosing to listen to what needs to be expressed through you.
Right.
And when you choose to listen to that, you avoid being trapped in ego. And that's an opportunity for the creative work to heal both the creator and the audience for it. So it's highly rewarding that way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm just going to cut you here for a sec. I am losing out on your video.
Oh,
Can everybody else see? I just want to ask if anyone who's viewing, because if everybody else can see, then we'll just go ahead else. Can everybody see
yeah,
Kali's video and my
just give us
video?
a thumbs
Yeah,
up.
for sure. Okay,
Um,
perfect. So everybody
okay,
can see. Maybe it's just, yeah, so it's
super
blurry on my
blurry.
end as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Should
So
I switch to my should I switch to my data instead of
anything
the
that's okay with you, you can maybe you can just close this for a second and join us back in here. We'll just
yeah,
wait for you
I'll do
and
that.
you can
How to
change your, yeah.
I'll just go out and come back in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're just going to give her a couple of seconds and you guys can just put any comments or any questions that you want to ask her. And we'll wait for her to join in here.
Hi.
Okay.
So how is
Yes.
this now?
I can see you. Yes.
Okay,
It's a
great.
little blurry, but it's better than what it was previously. So I think we're
Okay,
good.
okay.
Everybody can see us. If somebody can give us a thumbs up, if you can hear us, if you can see us.
Yeah, I did switch to my data, so now it should be fine. I mean, fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
I can see you well. So I think we're good.
Uh,
We'll
uh,
take that ahead. Okay, perfect. So something that I also feel, and comes back to what you said earlier, art as a form of expression. I also feel that, our body language is so important, but often we don't give it as much importance as it should get when we're, communicating with someone, or maybe if we're expressing and so on. What do you think is, the importance of our body language in our overall health, and as a part of the communications that we do? What do you think
well,
would the importance be?
I feel that humans are not just mind or just body or just soul. We come in our completeness with our mind, with our body, and with our soul.
Yeah.
I don't think these can exist separate from each other. So if our body, our physicality is locked,
Hmm.
something is not being expressed freely. So it's more, if physicality is blocked, it's more of a mental block as well. Something in our mind that stops us from expressing. So
Hmm.
it's mighty important. The body is the physical, the form manifestation of what happens otherwise within us. And we should take a hint when we see the body giving us indications for anything.
Yeah, true. Even if it's like our regular days, and if our body is getting tired, we should take it as a signal that it's okay to rest, and
Yeah, yeah.
because a
And
lot of times I
it's
feel.
go on.
No, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I interrupted.
No, no, no. I was just adding to your point, because I also feel that a lot of times as humans, we do neglect, taking care of our body, and, listening to what our body is saying, but it is highly essential.
Absolutely. And our bodies actually talk a lot more than we're willing to listen. And I believe that for our mental health, the physical approach really works.
Mhm.
Taking time to be with your body works wonders for your mind.
Yes, definitely. So my next question, and I really want to know this one, what are a few things that you do to take care of your mental health?
Who? Yeah. Okay. So I I have I have been in therapy to begin with. Um, when I was 21 for the first time,
Hmm.
and I have seen on and off um, many therapists in different countries, obviously, that I've lived. I feel
Definitely.
that going to therapy, if you think you need to, is highly essential. I have not visited or spoken to my therapist for the last maybe 6 months, which I think it's
Hmm.
a great sign. Um, that's to begin with, and I have really more of a discussion with my therapist rather than going there as a sick person, because I don't consider myself oh, I have a problem that needs treatment. More like I would like to figure something out.
Hmm.
How does this work? And that is my approach when it comes to therapy. But I don't just do that because that's I, I'm highly interested in what's going on in my mind. and the stuff that I'm not aware with my conscious mind. So I meditate. That is not to say that I don't fall off the meditation wagon. That for the last, it's been more than a month now that I've been very good, but you never know. I meditate, I do breathing exercises, which is either pranayama, and I just started doing that. I've always
Great.
wanted to do breathing exercises, and I wasn't doing it for the longest time, and now I began finally. I'm doing pranayama, and I'm using also the Wim Hof technique.
Okay.
I don't know if people know about the Wim Hof technique. It's I just Google it, guys, because it's too long. And yeah, and I exercise also. I'm actually very happy when I exercise. I'm a very physical person. I love running. I used to run so much that I created such bad shin splints on my legs, and since then I've stopped running so much. I run on occasion. Um, I just love engaging with my body. I dance crazily in my room. I do a lot of yoga. I love stretching, and there are techniques also that I learned in my acting training. Two techniques: Alexander technique and Feldenkrais technique. They are
Okay.
techniques that enhance the physical awareness of the actor by removing tension, by doing small movements, which and these techniques allow you to reprogram your nerves to move in a different way by releasing tension.
All right. That's great.
So yeah, I take time on the floor. I take a lot of time on the floor.
Perfect. And I think it is so important what you just said about it being normal to go to therapy. And if somebody needs it, it is so important that they go ahead and take it. Because yes, of course, there is a lot of stigma attached to it already. But when we hear a lot of people telling us that yes, it is okay and sharing their personal experiences, it also makes a lot of difference. So thank you so much for, being vocal about that and telling all our viewers about that today. Um,
Everybody
a
needs
question.
therapy. Everybody needs therapy. We should all be in therapy.
Perfect.
Once,
So,
Sanya,
yeah,
before you go into your next question, I want to
yeah,
actually, I just made a joke about everybody should be in therapy, but I actually
yeah,
believe it. And the reason I'm saying it is because if we don't know what's going on inside us, how are we going to understand what's going on outside? How are we going to understand our lives and our relationships with other people if we don't know our own minds and hearts? So
definitely.
that's why everybody should be in therapy. And it should be taught in schools, that kind of awareness. Anyway, bus, ho gaya.
No,
Next.
thank you so much. No, but that means a lot because when it comes down to all of this, we know it's important, but when we get that support and then everybody hears it too, it makes a huge difference. So yeah, thank you for saying that. So I had a question that I received prior to our session. So I'm going to ask you that. Actors are one of the most influential personalities in the current time, and the rise of the influential culture has arrived with strong responsibilities. How do you act upon these responsibilities so that your activity is not misunderstood or misinterpreted in any way?
Okay. The most important thing for me, and it has become the most important thing for me the past couple of years, is integrity, is to tell the truth, to be who I am, 100% and at all times. So I don't hide parts of me depending on who I meet. Of course, I'm professional in professional circumstances and personal in my personal life, but I try to be as 100% as I am everywhere. And I think that's important because this influencer culture creates a lot of false identities. A lot of like digital media is not, social media is not a real life experience. It gives you the potential to to hide yourself in many ways. And that being said, I don't put out my personal problems on social media because things need to be kept personal. But I definitely try to have integrity in my personality when I conduct myself, whether in the personal or public space. Because integrity is, if people see integrity, if people see truth, they recognize truth. So I'm not afraid if somebody misunderstands me. If somebody doesn't realize who I am and what I do, that stops being important to me because I tell I tell my truth. I live with integrity, and I think that's how I'm taking my responsibility. Firstly, towards myself, and then again to whoever sees me, whoever follows me, whoever is learning from me.
Right. Perfect. And do you ever feel there is an impact of these misunderstandings or the interpretations on you mentally? Do you think it takes a toll somehow?
Oh, of course, it
Yeah.
would take a toll, um, because nobody likes being misunderstood.
Right.
Nobody likes knowing that they are a certain way and people thinking they're a different way. Um, but I can't change or manage everybody's opinions.
Hmm.
The people's opinions are in their heads. How can I interfere with that? So what I do is try to live my personal truth,
Hmm.
and if I do that, the chances of me being upset is much less.
Yes.
Now, if somebody comes out and tells a big fat lie about me or something that I've done, and I've regretted it, that's not probably going to feel great. But if I've done it, I'll have to accept the fact that I have.
I think we lost connection. On your video for the last 2 seconds, I guess.
Sanya,
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can see you. Is that fine?
I can hear you, but can you hear me? We've lost your
Yeah.
video again. It's very blurry. But the video is blurry.
Okay.
So,
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm not going to leave the
sure,
live. I'm
sure.
just going to join my Wi-Fi again and see what happens.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear
Can you
you.
see me and hear me? Can you
I
see
can
me?
hear you, but um, our viewers say the video is gone, it's blurred, and yeah, it's blurry for me as well a little.
Mm, okay. What to do now?
Uh, Maybe you can exit and join back if that's something that you can do. Let me just ask, can you,
Okay.
are our
I'll,
viewers able to
yeah, sure.
see? If anybody in the viewers can let us know if both of us are audible and you can see us.
Mm, mm. I, I think. I'll do one thing. I'll just go out and come back in.
Okay, sure. Whatever is easier for you. Yeah, we'll just continue the same way in case it's still blurry now because we can all hear her. And
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
okay.
back.
I think, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, so you were saying if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think I was done with making a point.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So another thing that I really wanted to ask you is, especially when you shifted places, coming from Greece and then being in India and then being in such a creative place where there is so much to do, what is the importance of family and, friend support and how, significant has it been in your life?
Huge. Uh, I mean, I would not have made it in India if it wasn't for and my abundant friends. Gulshan and I are still very much friends and co-parents to our cats. Um, and without his support, I would have never made it here. I would have never lasted because it was a very alien culture for me, and I needed someone as stable and calm as him uh, for me to take that much time that I took to adjust to the place. I took a long time to adjust to Indian culture, to start learning the language, to getting work done, to getting into the profession. I was just really, really taken aback and scared for 2, 3 years, I would say. And I have a bunch of amazing friends. They are better friends to me than I am to them, I have to say. They have supported me, put up with me. Um, they were there whenever I needed them. We've gone on amazing holidays together. I feel like I have a big family here. I have a huge family, and they have a very special place in my heart. And if I ever had to leave India, or if I ever decided to leave India, this one big factor that I would make me think twice or thrice would be losing this huge family that I've made here. When it comes to my native family, my mother and my sisters, we all live in 4 different countries in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been challenging, but our family group on Viber is going strong.
Great.
Uh, sharing, yeah, sharing baby photos, my niece and my nephew. I talk to my mom and I talk to my sisters. Not very often, you know. I know people who talk to their parents every day. I probably talk to my mom every week, 10 days. Sometimes it used to be much longer. I could take 3 weeks or a month to speak to my mother. But our relationship has really changed as I'm growing older. I'm becoming a little better. Uh, Not just more mature, but understanding my family, my mother, my sisters, and healing our family relationships. I lost my father when I was very young. I was 10 years old. And
I'm
it
sorry.
really shaped. I mean, it's been a while, but I would have been a very different person if my dad was alive. That event has really shaped all of us very strongly, and it created a big dent within us. We were in a lot of pain for many, many years. And I feel that as time is passing and as we're growing older, we are starting to heal that pain. and it's transforming the relationship that we have with each other, the four of us. My sisters and my mother, and I'm going to tear up now, are the most important people in my life, and I love them dearly, and I miss them a lot.
But that's great that you have this support, and um, family is always pillar. And that is why I asked this question, that in an industry like that in which you are, it does play a crucial role. And thank you for sharing. We don't want you to tear up here, and we understand the how important
It's
family
only
is, but
love.
we understand the emotion. And it's great that you can be vocal about it. And thank you so much for sharing that. It truly means a lot.
Thank you.
So those are my questions for you. I'm going to open up the platform now for any of our viewers. Anybody who has any sort of comments or wants to ask anything directly can just leave their comments below, and we're happy to take a couple of them.
Yes.
One of our viewers wants you
Yeah,
to smile.
smile. I'm smiling. I smile so much.
And you have a
Sometimes,
beautiful smile.
oh,
You have a
thank you.
beautiful
It's
smile, and
it's my mom. My mom is a dentist. She's done all this.
no, yeah.
Um,
Some
um, I don't see any questions coming up. Um,
Um, we have one
I'm
question for developing diction.
developing diction. Is that for acting,
Um,
or is that a general question for life?
Let me just, there was a comment up. I'm just going to scroll and see. So somebody
Sure.
asked, Pratyay asked, ma'am, if you could give an advice on how to develop diction.
I'm really not a specialist on diction. I myself suffer a lot from pronouncing things really wrongly, because English is not my first language, Hindi is not my first language. Um, so, diction and correct pronunciation of things is something that I need lessons for. Um, there are teachers who teach diction and voice, so I suggest a couple of them is Hetal Varia, um, and Graham D'Souza. If you can find them both on Instagram, Hetal Varia Voice Works, HV Voice Works, and Graham D'Souza, Gramovox.in, I think is his handle. They're both excellent voice teachers, and I think they would be much more qualified to help you when it comes to diction.
Perfect. I think, yeah, that, and it was regarding acting itself. So, um,
Okay.
we're just going to see if anybody else has any questions that you'd like to ask. There are a lot of compliments for you, though. You're the best teacher and a great person.
Oh, that's so sweet they are.
So I think there are okay. So since there's a question by Om Too Cool. He's asking, since we're talking about mental health, here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Conservative parents, mothers especially, tend to hyperventilate when hearing about depression. How can we talk about it?
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Um, Depression is real, and it's real for many, 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 many people. And it's hard to talk about it. Sometimes it's hard to talk about it from a sufferer's perspective. Having been there at my worst and toughest, it was extremely hard to open up about it. Um, it's a little easier when it's not too bad. Conservative parents, in general, parents hate hearing that their child is suffering. I don't think it's the conservatism part that makes parents hyperventilate, to be honest. I think it's just their natural instinct that,
Yes.
oh my God, my child is suffering. And when we don't know what to do about it, we might try to block that information. So I would firstly suggest, ask yourself if you are really seeing your mom the way she is or the way you think she is. Is it her reaction? Is it because she's conservative or just because she feels inadequate in trying to help you, which I think is more the case. And I'm suggesting that because it will help you not feeling resentment as well by the fact that, oh, but I'm alone and my closest person, my mother, doesn't want to hear about it. And the other approach would be like an honest and straightforward talk. But at the same time, try to, if you think that your mom doesn't have enough information about depression or how depression works, what it does, educate her. See if she's open to being educated. Maybe having a chat with someone who can explain what is going on to her. Someone who is she's not very attached to, so she can absorb that information without an emotional filter of this person is suffering and I can't help them, that she's probably facing with you. It's a wild guess. I'm not a therapist, but if I'm trying to think like your mom, that's probably what I would feel. Yeah, that was for Omkar.
Yeah, no, I think those are great perspectives that you've given us. And I think a final one would be by Aditya. He's asking anything that can help adolescents determine their passion. Anything that you could.
Yes. Listen to what comes naturally to you, what you love. Write things down. Read books about your passions. What is it that makes you happy? If you didn't have to think about your mom and dad, what is it that you enjoy? What do you do and you don't realize that time flies when you do it? Where, in those activities where you are fully engaged and you don't understand where time goes, is usually where your passions lie. The things that you really, truly, deeply enjoy. And now let's be a little careful here because we truly, deeply enjoy playing video games also. And we truly, deeply enjoy just scrolling on Instagram. But that's not the kind of joy I'm really talking about. I'm talking about the kind of joy that makes you blossom, that makes you feel like you're a superhero, the kind of joy that nobody can take away from you. When you feel that, no matter what it is that makes you feel that, listen to your heart, listen to what is going on, because that's probably where what you should be doing, what you should be following. The calling is from somewhere else. It's not just in your mind.
Definitely. Thank you so much for all that great advice. I think they were wonderfully put up points. And with that, I think those are our questions for you. We do want to thank you once again for joining us and taking out the time to be here with us. It really means a lot to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I wish my Wi-Fi was a little better. I have no idea why this happened, but well, we rolled with it.
Yes, no, but it's all good now. And we've had a wonderful session, no complaints at all. So thank you so much. It truly means a lot to us.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanya. Thank you for having
But
me, truly.
yeah, yeah. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.